President Tinubu has expressed deep concerns over the news of the devastation wreaked by floods on communities and farmlands across the country. In a statement on Wednesday by his spokesman, Ajuri Ngelale, the president said he was particularly worried about the plight of bereaved families, farmers, displaced communities, and those who had lost property. According to Ngelale, Tinubu re-emphasized the need for concerted efforts to address existential environmental concerns and build a more climate-resilient and adaptive society. He quoted the president as assuring Nigerians that his administration, through the relevant agencies, would continue to provide the needed support for victims. Recent data by the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, indicates that lives have been lost, with thousands of hectares of farmlands damaged and thousands of people displaced by floods across the country. The 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has criticized the federal government for the 18-year age limit on NECO and WAEC exams, calling it absurd and a barrier to scholarship. The former vice president took his verified Facebook page on Wednesday to criticize the policy as outdated and controversial and called for universal condemnation from those who value intellectual freedom and accessibility. The policy, he said, is an absurdity and a disincentive to scholarship and runs foul of the notion of delineation of responsibilities in a federal system of government such as being practiced in the country. The former vice president highlighted that the most effective global approach is to allow subnational governments to establish their educational laws or regulations, insisting that it is unconstitutional for the federal government to legislate an education like a decree. Recall that the federal government has banned individuals below 18 from participating in the NECO and WAEC exams. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has received a draft copy of the National Integrated Electricity Policy and Strategic Implementation Plan, expected to drive the positive change needed to transform Nigeria's electricity sector. Adelabu, who received the document on Wednesday in Abuja, said the draft policy document will be presented to the Federal Executive Council, FEC, in 6 weeks. Some industry experts and key stakeholders in the power sector put together the National Integrated Electricity Policy and Strategic Implementation Plan, a policy document that is targeted at addressing challenges in the sector. The policy document outlines interventions across the entire power value chain, from generation and transmission to distribution and off-grid segments. The Power Minister said this was part of measures aimed at improving equitable access to electricity for all Nigerians, particularly those in undeserved communities, creating an enabling environment for investment to thrive, and integrating renewable energy resources. The power sector in Nigeria has been plagued with hydra-headed issues that has bogged electricity generation and affected Nigeria's industrialization. Adelabu had said the government has been working on ramping up power generation from about 4,000 megawatts to 6,000 megawatts in the next 6 months. He said 25% of Nigeria's power generation is from hydroelectric power, while the remaining 75% is from gas plants. The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, has directed all state chapters and affiliate members to mobilize members in solidarity with the NLC President, Joe Ajaero, who is expected to honor police invitation for alleged terrorism on Thursday, August 29, 2024. The General Secretary of the NLC, Emmanuel Ubaja, confirmed the directive in an interview. According to the NLC General Secretary, the directive also instructed members from across the states to mobilize and embark on a peaceful procession to their respective state police command and stay there until the NLC president is out of the police interrogation. Meanwhile, NLC members in Abuja are also expected to do the same, with some leaders of the labor union accompanying the union president to the police investigation office. The police had invited Ajaero last week for questioning over allegations of terrorism financing, treasonable felony, and cybercrime. However, the NLC, through its legal advisor, sought for a new date to honor the invitation. The Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, says over 31.8 million Nigerians are suffering from acute food insecurity, worsened by malnutrition among women and children across the country. The organization is disclosed this in its 2024 Cadre Harmonized Report, published in collaboration with other development partners. The report pointed out that the surge in food commodity prices occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy, as well as security challenges, had further placed millions of Nigerians in a precarious situation. During their joint review meeting on the implementation of the food systems in Nigeria, the stakeholders advocated a multi-sectoral approach of collaboration to tackle food security. The Nigeria Immigration Service has ordered the immediate repatriation of a Zimbabwean cleric, Eben Watawi, for allegedly violating immigration laws. In a statement by the Service Public Relations Officer, Kenneth Udo, on Wednesday in Abuja. Udo said the cleric was apprehended by the operatives of the NIS on August 24th in Yola, Adamawa, for allegedly violation of immigration protocols after he arrived in the country on the August 21 with a tourist visa meant solely for tourism purposes. This, he said, is in clear violation of the terms and privileges associated with the tourist visa as provided in the Nigerian Visa Policy 2024. The service said it encourages lawful inflow of foreign direct investments and individuals engaging in business and social activities as key points annually. IMF resident representative for Nigeria, Dr. Christian Ebeke, gave the advice in Lagos at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI International Business Conference and Expo 2024. In his presentation titled, "Nigeria Must Stay the Course on Reform Agenda," Ebeke stated that the country was faced with acute policy trade-offs that stemmed from inherited imbalances, saying the outlook was predicated on strong policies and further reforms. In his address to the conference, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, said his administration had implemented policies and initiatives that would attract investment, create opportunities. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, NANMM, has appealed to the federal government to reopen the portal for verification of credentials of its members. The national president of NANMM, Michael Nachi, made the appeal during the opening session of a two-day National Executive Council NEC meeting of NANMM in Abuja on Wednesday. The portal was closed by the federal government since December 2023 in an attempt to regulate the standard of nursing and midwifery, as well as raise the standard. Nachi also demanded for the creation of a Department of Nursing at the Federal Ministry of Health and other related matters to further brighten the future of the profession. He called for a change in Nigerian nurses and midwives not being recognized for a place in policy-making matters, hospital board membership, or political appointment. He called for a safe and favorable working environment for the nurses, adequate compensation for work done, desirable tools to work with, protection against outbreaks of diseases, and insurance for members. He also called for employment of the teeming population of the unemployed nurses, whose well-being are integral to the healthcare needs of the nation. Stakeholders in Nigeria's blue economy are charting a new course focused on tackling challenges hurting the growth of the maritime sector. Accordingly, the Alf City Institution and Advocacy Outreach has mobilized stakeholders, including the federal government, in that direction. The Lagos-based leading promoter of blue economy said on Wednesday that it was set to begin the initiative with a conference on blue economy and ecosystem from November 5th to 7th in Lagos. The Chief Executive Officer, Soji Adeleye, in a statement on Wednesday, identified the challenges they were facing to include low productivity, unemployment, transportation, infrastructure deficit, and economic stagnation. He said some of the recommendations from the institution's earlier conferences were fundamental to the prospect of creating the climate to achieve a sustainable Nigerian economy. According to him, the conferences worked out numerous recommendations that included identifying state coastal projects that are at advanced stages of implementation that could benefit from immediate specific assistance and support. He said that public-private partnership efficiency at the moment was constrained by its structure and the subsisting investment environment. Other stakeholders in the task of building and sustaining a strong and viable blue economy are the NAS, the littoral states, local and international financial institutions, and maritime operators. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, says it has directed all mobile network operators, MNOs, to complete the mandatory verification and linkage of SIMs to NINs by September 14, 2024. This was disclosed in a statement signed by Director of Public Affairs at NCC, Ruben Morka, on Wednesday. The statement said that the directive is aimed at ensuring full compliance with the NIN-SIM linkage policy. He said that the NCC was pleased to announce significant progress in the federal government's 2020 policy to link all subscriber identification modules, SIMs, to national identity numbers, NINs. According to the statement, over 153 million SIMs have been successfully linked to their NINs, reflecting an impressive compliance rate of 96%, a substantial increase from 69.7% in January 2024. Still to come, Governor Idris counsels people on constructive criticism. CBN lifts suspension on bank borrowing, sets 31.75% lending rate. Do stay with us. Real estate developers have been told to sensitize the masses adequately on availability of mortgages loans to enable them own houses and overcome acute accommodation crisis. A real estate expert and former national president of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, REDAN, Dr. Ugochime, gave this advice at the inaugural conference of the association held in Oka. Correspondent Ndo Bareze was there for Signature TV News and now reports.
Dr. Chime, who was the keynote speaker on the occasion, observed that the people of the Southeast were the highest contributors to housing.
You are permitted to use 25% of it.
Dr. Chime also called on government to change its attitude of master-servant relationship.
roles to be played by developers. There are roles to be played by participating financial uh, institutions, PFIs. We must sensitize and sit down and discuss and ask ourselves, what share of this volume and other resources are we looking for? As of today, the RSA of every one of us, retirement service account, with our pension fund administration, we are permitted to use 25% of it.
Dr. Chima also called on government to change its attitude of master-servant relationship in dealing with estate developers, as there was a great need for them to work in synergy to overcome some bottlenecks in land acquisition and development. The Anambra State Commissioner for Housing, Paul Onyeka, said the state government was consolidating the policy in housing development and advised estate developers to pool resources together and form partnerships to raise the humongous funds needed to operate in the sector.
Before you build, you look at the land space where you are building and make sure that you've not exceeded 65% of the land space as a buildable space. The other 35%, stop looking at it all. That one is for the enjoyment of whoever that is going to live in that house.
The Housing Commissioner also lamented the high incidence of building collapse and urged state practitioners to do more due diligence to avoid future occurrences. Earlier in his welcome address, the Anambra State Branch Chairman of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Dr. Sonewa Chukwu, explained that the idea of coming together at the state level was to ensure more professional practice and ethical conduct. He assured that estate developers in the state would do everything possible towards meeting the housing needs of the people at affordable costs.
We proudly inform all our invited guests that RIDAN is committed to providing decent and affordable mass housing for all Nigerians. In addition, it has other products and services.
The inaugural conference, attended by some big names in the industry, featured a question and answer session, as well as goodwill messages from the national, the southeast and south-south zones of the association. Mdu Obaleze, Signature TV News.
The Commissioner for Youth Development in Anambra, Patrick Aramba, has called on the youth of the state to quickly key into the ministry's skills training program. Aramba made the call at the opening of a one-day value reorientation and capacity building training organized by the ministry for master trainers for One Youth, Two Skills on Wednesday in Oka. He said that the One Youth, Two Skills training with the team developing strategic partnership for optimal service delivery phase 2 will train 8,620 youths. The commissioner said that the master trainers were expected to adopt the right values as agents of change and also acquire the positive mindset needed to actualize the vision. He said that the One Youth, Two Skills program was an initiative of Governor Charles Choludo, designed with the objective of redefining youth empowerment. He further said that the program was targeted at turning the state into the biggest skill hub in sub-Saharan Africa, where youth will acquire employable and exportable skills. According to him, the apprenticeship scheme is meant for vocational skills training with an intention to adopt the apprenticeship model to ensure that trainees learn business skills too. Aramba lauded Soludo for creating limitless opportunities and boundless possibilities for Anambra youth. He said that the first phase of the program had 5,000 youths empowered with vocational and entrepreneurship skills, where 2 billion grants were given for business startups and expansion. Wife of the Ebonyi State Governor, Uzamaka Nwifuru, has advised women to take proper care of their bodies and health and protect their household against home breakers. Nwifuru gave the advice at the 2024 Women August Convention of Ebonyi Local Government Area held at Ubodo, the local council headquarters. Nwifuru, who was represented by the Commissioner for Aviation, Dr. Ngozi Obichukwu, observed that wise women build their homes, raising godly children, and support their husbands.
My own word from our dear mama today is build your own self. A woman that is capacity enhanced can never be downtrodden. No man can look down on that woman. And if you're a woman here, you have girls, train them and train them well. When a woman develops herself, a nation is developed. When a woman develops herself, the entire family is developed. When a woman has the wherewithal, if you are not educated, you have not started.
The chairman of Ebonyi local government area, Prince Chinedu Uburu, and wife Mrs. Jessica Chinedu Uburu, thanked the Ebonyi state governor and wife for giving Ebonyi women a pride of place and assured women of the council area of their commitment to improve their living standard.
So I want to use this opportunity to beg our women to not only build your home, but to equally build the homes around you. When you have peace in your environment, when you have peace in your neighborhood, you will see the presence of God in you and the people around you. The women of Ebonyi State and Ebonyi local government in particular have been so productive, very unique.
Chairman of the occasion, who is also the chairman Ebonyi State Universal Basic Education Board, Mrs. Patience Ugodo, commended the council chairman and his wife for towing the path of the wife of the state governor in having the interest of the women at heart.
Home, guard your home like your life depends on it. And after everything, our husband should be proud of all of us. So we should be the builder of home and not destroyer. Remember, your children are looking up to you. Those children on the streets